Hey guys, before we proceed to the guide, there is a targeted procurement banner featuring Tololo, Litara, and Ksenia. So this is from December 26th to January 15th, and the drop rate for the Elite Doll Tololo is increased in the targeted procurement event. Now let's proceed to our Tololo guide. Okay guys, so this is Tololo, and she specializes in single target burst with an extra action built into her kit. So we'll start off with her skills and with her basic attack. So it's called Meter, it's at level 1, it has stability damage 2, selects one enemy target within 8 tiles and deals physical damage equal to 80% of attack to them. Next up is going to be Black Hole Inversion. This is already at level 2 because I have her at S1 or at V1. So take note that stability damage is at 3, selects one enemy target with 8 tiles and deals hydro damage equal to 130% of attack to it. If phase weakness is exploited, this attack ignores 50% of cover damage reduction and gain 2 points of Confectance Index. Also take note that the cooldown for this active skill is at 2. Okay, so also the phase weakness is an important factor in her kit, so let's proceed to her next active skill. This is Super Nova Impact, active, targeted, and a control skill. So stability damage is at 3, selects one enemy target within 8 tiles, dealing physical damage equal to 130% of attack. If the user has 2 or more buffs, increase the damage dealt by 20% and gains 2 points of Confectance Index. If an allied unit launches a support attack before the user's attack, apply stun to the target for 1 turn. Also take note that this skill has a 2-turn cooldown. Okay, and the ultimate skill is Mortal Lumina. This is a targeted skill as well, and this one has one of the biggest damage, a single target damage that I've seen. Stability damage is at 4. Select one enemy target within 8 tiles and deal hydro damage equal to 180% attack to it. If under the effect of 3 or more buffs, meaning the user, increase damage dealt by 15% and reduce the skill cooldown by 2 turns. So the theme of her kit is if she has a lot of buffs, she can trigger a lot of abilities as well. So for this case, if she has 3 or more buffs, the cooldown of the skill is going to be 2 instead of 4. Okay, and the last one is going to be her passive, which is Aurora Curtain. Passive, a buff, fills the Confectance Index to a maximum at the start of the battle. After attacking, the Confectance Index is at max. Consume all of it and gains 1 instance of an extra action. At the start of each action, for every 2 points of Confectance Index, gains 1 random buff until the end of action. Each time an allied unit deals hydro damage, this unit gains 1 stack of Light Spike. So Light Spike is a critical and a critical rate and critical damage buff, stacking up to 8 times. Okay, this passive, if you just know how to mix and match her turns, her skills, and actions, definitely if you plan to get her at max as often as possible, then what I mean by max is her Confectance Index. You definitely will get an extra turn as often as possible. Okay, so her kit has a lot of triggers, and it's actually very flexible, and it's a very fun kit to use. Okay, so we are off to her weapon options. First ideal option is going to be Planeta. Okay, let's take a look at the abilities. When a kill is made or after the unit's extra action, obviously her kit has an extra action built into it, ends, damage dealt by active skills is increased by 4%, stacking up to 5 times after receiving 5 stacks, and gains 2 tiles of additional movement after an active attack. So definitely Planeta is the recommended gun for her. Okay, for the second option, we do have Gerno. I really recommend this as a second option if you don't have Planeta. So the special effect of this gun is Cooperative Warfare. For each allied unit excluding self within 5 tiles, increases healing and damage dealt. Obviously, you'll be using the damage dealt portion. up to 5%, up to 15% if there are more than 2 allied units gains 2 tiles of additional movement after the active attack. So this helps her in terms of mobility, and the trait of this gun is if the unit has a full HP at the start of the action, they gain 1 random buff for the turn, which is actually nice as well. Okay, so your final option would be Model Alpha. Obviously, if you don't have the other 2 guns, this is the best SR gun that you can equip her with. So the trait here is when the user gains extra action, which again is actually built into Tololo's kit, targeted active skill damage is increased by 10%. So this is easier to farm because it's an SR rarity. Okay, for her fortification, we'll start off with segment 1, which I happen to have activated already because I have her at V1 or S1. So this one is added to Black Hole Inversion if a phase weakness is exploited. Ignores 15% of cover damage reduction for this attack. This one is a good add, by the way. Segment 2, we have to add this to Supernova Impact. If under the effect of 3 or more buffs, this attack deals hydro damage additionally and gains 1 point on Confectance Index. So this skill gains the elemental damage of hydro damage. Okay, next up is segment 3. If under the effect of 3 or more buffs, increase damage dealt by 30% and reduce this skill cooldown by 3 turns. Again, this is a very, very nice add. So it will be added to your ultimate skill, Morte Lumina. So again, best stops here for the fortification so far is going to be segment 1 and segment 3. Next up is going to be segment 4. During an action, this unit gains targeted attack, boost 2, critical rate boost 2, phase boost 2, and piercing 2 for 2 turns. Crazy add-on. So this will be added to, I think this would be your passive, Aurora Curtain. And this is also a must get for her fortification. Next is going to be segment 5. Another add-on to the passive. The effect of light spike is enhanced critical rate and critical damage by 2%. And the last one is going to be segment 6 or V6. If this kills the target and gains 1 point of Confectance Index. This is, by the way, added to the ultimate skill. So the stopovers that are actually very important here is going to be segment 1, segment 3, segment 4, and the last is going to be segment 6. Okay, so now we have her neural helix, and let's proceed to key regulation, and let us check out the fixed key options that we have for her. The first option is definitely, or the first fixed option is going to be Invisible Light. When an extra action is triggered, gains attack up 2 and damage up 2 for 1 turn. The next fixed one that you should consider is Comet Tail Transit. Extra action increases mobility by 1. The last slot, for the third slot, you can actually select between these two depending on what you want to aim as a support effect. The first one is going to be Galactic Cruise. When exploiting a phase weakness, cleanses 2 buffs from target before attacking. But if you're not into cleansing buffs from a target, therefore you will have to go with this one. When using this one is Principles of Observational Astronomy. When using Black Hole Inversion, applies congestion to the target for 2 turns, which cannot be healed and considered a hydro buff, which is actually big as well, especially if you're trying to take down an opponent that constantly heals. Okay, so those are the fixed key options for the 3 slots that you have. Lastly, guys, we do have some team options for Tololo, and for support, the first option is definitely going to be Sumi. So if you don't have Sumi, and if you want more healing, then therefore you would have to go with Cheetah. Cheetah is actually free once you join the game. And the other option for support is going to be Ksenia for heal as well. And the last option for support, if you're going to have to be for a counterattack, definitely go with Groza. Okay? Oh, sorry. I do have one more support that I think would be helpful for Tololo. It is going to be Kolfni. Number one, because Kolfni is the same element as Tololo, and she also has good heals as well. And off to our DPS. First DPS is going to be QJ. Definitely both of them, both Tololo and QJ, go hand in hand in your team. They have fantastic synergy in terms of DPS. The other option for you, if you don't have QJ, is going to be Sharkery. So Sharkery, definitely an easier option to build for DPS because she is SSR. The other two options are going to be Sabrina and Ulrid, which both of them I don't have right now, but those are the team options both for support and for DPS. Okay, so final thoughts for Tololo. CN is going to be receiving or received a buff already for Tololo. So definitely once we get that buff for Tololo, she is going to be better than what she is now. So right now, what they're saying is she has a drop off from mid game to end game, but definitely that buff is going to help her. So again, if you're hesitant at first to invest into Lolo, now is the time to invest in her, especially with the upcoming banner. Also guys, if you find this video helpful, please do subscribe to the channel. And again, I would appreciate your comment down below. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.